Right. So, hello
Hi.
and welcome to Quarantine Chats. Quarantine Wino Chats. Nice. It's nice to see you both.
You too.
The
You
power
too.
of technology. Or whatever we can manage with the downfalls of technology as well. So, who are you? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who the fuck are you?
I'm Lilith Lemons. I perform with the Femmes Rebelles. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Only trash.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I'm just like living my life here in Guelph, Ontario, in my house.
Sure.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Aside from quarantine aside, just tell me a bit about you.
My day job is usually in massage therapy, and then I have these two cats I take care of as well, and a partner who I also take care of. Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah. How would you describe yourself in 3 words, Lilith?
Ugh. Gemini.
What was the first one?
Gemini.
Oh, sure.
Just because it says so much with only one word.
Mm-hmm.
Outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbies.
Hobbies?
Hobbies is a word that describes me, I feel.
Sure, you have hobbies. You have lots of them.
I have hobbies all over.
What are some of those hobbies?
Well, one that I've also turned into a job is axe throwing. Knit. It kind of changes from year to year. Last year I was into pottery for a hot minute. Mm-hmm. I stopped doing that because didn't have time.
Sure. Because of all the hobbies.
All the other hobbies, I had to pick and choose between my hobbies.
Awesome.
Thinking of getting back into video games because it feels like an appropriate time.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take up, I don't know, letter writing as a hobby, or
maybe I'll just eventually take time to get comfortable with video chats.
Yes.
Like that's a skill that we have to learn.
Maybe you could invent a form that is more functional than the ones we're using.
Yeah.
How about you, Cheetah Shirt? Tell us, who the fuck are you?
So I'm Ruby Moon, also of the Femmes Rebelles, just like Lilith. And my day job is working at the library. And I'm also a cat mom. I have 3 cats and a partner who takes care of me mostly.
4.
And yeah, I don't know.
What 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
Probably nerdy, emotional, and a Renaissance soul.
Ooh, classy.
I like that.
You should be fine in quarantine then.
Yeah, if I had some motivation, that would go a long way, but fortunately I'm fresh out of that, so.
Fair. So how are you guys coping?
In this exact moment, pretty well, because there's a cat who's just like totally taking over this video for me. This is Oliver. I think relatively speaking, I'm coping pretty well. The part that I've been, because I have been put out of work temporarily. I think the part that I'm struggling most with is in order to for the next
finances.
Yeah, so that's what I think like it's just that's been preoccupying my situation so much.
Of course. Yeah.
Like I'm noticing kind of the like getting a little stir crazy, but like not, that's not really what's on the top of the radar.
Mhm.
Generally coping pretty well. I'm still like managing fun, feeling like cautiously optimistic about the whole situation for now, because that's really all I can do.
Yeah, fair. Fair. How about you, Ruby?
I mean, I'm not happy.
Sure.
Certainly not happy, but
Fair.
just trying to like constantly talk to people and distract myself from the negative emotions I'm experiencing.
Mhm. So what are your guys' most sort of pervasive thoughts? You kind of both touched on it, but like, what are you thinking about the most in this time?
Yeah, at the moment, money.
Mm-hmm.
And also trying to be like, I'm trying to focus more on resourcefulness, because like I had a discussion with my partner a few days ago, and like because I'm so focused on money, it's like all of the like I'm like I find myself like rationing things in a really extreme way, and kind of because of money, but then it was like, well, no, I'm also trying.
Sorry, you cut out, Lilith.
Oh, is it doing the truck sound again?
It is actually.
Cool.
Yeah. You're
Uh,
rationing because of money and then something.
yeah, so it sounds like I'm rationing because of money, but it's also because I'm trying not to leave the house as much as possible. Like I feel like because when I first stopped working, it was a choice. We weren't forced to yet.
Yeah.
So I felt like once I made that, I was like, I have to kind of go ahead with this full steam into the like really trying to honor
Yeah.
as much as possible. So I've been taking that really seriously. As I know many people have, but yeah, it's just like it's those are kind of the only two things that I think about. I'm not really thinking about the fact
Mm-hmm.
anything else is happening.
Fair. Fair. How about you, Ruby?
What was the question again? What's on my mind?
What do you think is the most pervasive thoughts you're having about everything? What comes up the most for you?
Just anxiety about how long it's going to go on.
Yeah.
Like there's all these like rumors about it going on until like mid-July or possibly longer, and that makes me really panicked
Mm-hmm.
in my mind.
What's the panic like? That you just can't manage until then, or
I just worry about my mental health being in this situation for such a long time.
yeah, fair.
So
I think a lot of folks are worried about that. Like easy, well, I shouldn't say easy. It's like manageable when we're like, okay, let's do this for 2 weeks, or like, okay, I can get through a month. But especially when there's a lot of uncertainty too. Like, I mean, if they could say definitively, like, yeah, July 16th, we're done, at least you can brace yourself for that. But then there's like, what if it's not July 16th? Or like, what if this is indefinite? For sure. So what are you finding that helps the most for you in managing these thoughts and just, taking care of yourself in general, Lilith?
Fortunately and unfortunately, because of the fact that I'm like dealing with the money, most of my time has just been occupied with like trying to navigate like how I can take care of myself and like what's available to me and things like that. So I've spent a lot of time trying to like educate myself on the systems that I have to use.
Yeah.
So that's been taking a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like but yeah, there's a lot of things that I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about EI before. I knew nothing about like really the CRA at the end of the day. It was just kind of like you send them your things and they tell you how you proceed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more to it than I thought there was.
Turns out
learning a lot about that.
bureaucracies, eh? They're real
Yeah.
fun.
It's like, it's frustrating. I'm not enjoying the process of it, but it's also giving me something to focus on. Like, it's giving me a task that I have to accomplish. It's giving me a sense of, I'm waking up at 7:30 in the morning and I'm starting, it's like going to work.
Right. It's your job.
Yeah. And then there's also like administrative stuff that I'm doing for my day job that I wouldn't normally do. Yeah, that I'm just kind of catching up on, just like little dumb things. So that's helping a lot. And then like I take like I moved recently into a house and there's a backyard now, which I didn't have access to outside space before. So I'm mostly just appreciative that I'm not in an apartment. Because before it was like I was several stories up, and yeah, so it's been helping to just like step outside for 5 minutes at a time, and like I'm genuinely very grateful. Like I'm not taking it for granted at all.
Yeah.
That's refreshing.
Do you have any, like you kind of touched on it with the gratitude, but do you have any particular thoughts or anything that give you relief, or that you're like, you know, focusing on, that try to get through it?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for things that I've had for a while that I wouldn't necessarily take for granted, but forefront as much. Like, I'm, of all the relationships I've been in, I'm pretty stoked that this is the person that I'm trapped with. Yeah, I've been trying really hard to like actively focus on things that I'm feeling grateful for.
Yeah.
I'm really into meals right now. Like eating has become a source of joy, and I'm really enjoying like eating the food that I've been preparing.
Nice.
Because it's part of the day.
Nice. How about you, Rubes? I'm just gonna fill up my wine here from my my box. Sorry, go ahead. What's helping you, Ruby?
Well, wine. Wine, weed, Drag Race.
Sure.
There's new episodes of Drag Race coming out at least.
I know.
There's one tonight.
I know, I've been waiting all week.
Yeah. And yeah, just like talking. Sorry?
Sorry, I've been saving a bag of chips for tonight.
Oh, party.
Right?
Yeah, just staying in touch with people as much as possible is like helping. And yeah, keeping in mind like the things that I'm lucky for. Like, I'm lucky, you know, we've got a lot of food in the house, and you know, I have a vehicle. I don't have to take public transit if I go somewhere. I have money right now. So things could always be worse.
Sure. Is that the mantra you're telling yourself?
Things could always be worse. Because it's true.
Yeah. Do you, either of you, have like a go-to mantra or anything that's like particularly helpful?
Not really. I'm not like I'm too I want to say I'm too flighty to stick to mantras. Like, I love the idea of them, but then I find one and it serves me for 5 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, this other thing.
Sure. Gemini.
Yeah, very Gemini.
How about you, Lee? Do you have anything?
No, I don't really use mantras at this moment in my life. I have in the past, but I go through like phases, and I'm not really in a mantra phase right now.
Sure. Hashtag mantra phase. I mean, Lilith, you kind of touched on it, but I don't know if you want to add anything. But what are, like, tell me what your days look like, each of you.
It's been pretty varied, actually. Like, other than the last couple of days, I've been focused on the like long phone calls with my Service Canada. But the days before that, last week was so all over the place because everything was happening so rapidly and things were changing so rapidly that it was mostly just like, I didn't allow myself to sit and process the news. And that looked different every day. And then the weekend was like navigating maybe what things were going to look like with the person that I live with right now. because we had a chance to talk about that and we're processing it. So that happened. We got outside a lot on the weekend, which was nice. For walks, nothing irresponsible. Yeah, the last few days I've actually I made a meal plan on Sunday and I've been sticking to it, which is very out of character, and some of it has been really positive in that way. I'm feeling like a grown up
How nice.
for the first time in my life.
That's funny. I feel like a lot of people's experience is I feel like a teenager. I sleep till noon and then I watch movies in bed. And what's your day-to-day looking like, Rubes?
Well, I do sleep in as late as I want. That's the one thing I love about this is that I can sleep in. So yeah, and then I get up and I have coffee and I usually read for a little bit. Right now I'm reading Lady Midnight, the young adult supernatural fiction.
Are you over your pandemic series or whatever?
I didn't finish it.
You didn't finish it?
I still have the book here because you can't return anything to the library right now.
Right, of
because
course.
it's closed. But I stopped reading it. It was too real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other than that, I've just been doing we've got some training that the library gave us. So I've been doing a little bit of that every day and just watching TV, doing yoga, and smoking weed and drinking wine.
Nice. So kind of like a teenager.
Pretty close, yeah.
You're not drinking Colt 45 or anything.
No. I'm just drinking cheap wine.
Nice. Yeah, or not, what were those things? Oh shit, wild vines? Is that what it was?
Yeah, wild vines. I love those, man.
Yeah, those are definitely part of my teenage years. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so I know this and Lilith knows this, but just to update, you're not at work right now, obviously. The library's closed, you're off.
The library is closed, yes.
And until further notice.
Until the 30th of April at this time.
Okay.
So.
Have you learned anything?
About
yourself? About
Oh, you mean deep?
No, it could be I learned I really like strawberry jam, or I hate my partner, or it could be deep, doesn't need to be. Just have you learned anything in the last couple weeks, either about yourself or just in general? Maybe you learned some interesting fact about cats. I don't know.
I've been learning about gardening.
Oh, nice.
Also learned that I much prefer cooking my own beans from dried beans as opposed to canned beans because the texture is better.
There you go.
Just something that I think I will actually carry through beyond this. I bought the dried ones because cans take up too much space. So it's because we don't have very big cupboards.
I think they're cheaper too.
They're a lot cheaper, yeah. But yeah, the process of learning how to cook beans has been shockingly rewarding. And what else did I learn? Oh, I'm learning so much about the fucking government.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. How about you, Rubes? Learn anything?
Nothing I can think of, to be honest.
I'm sure you have, but we can always come back to it
if something occurs to me.
Yeah. I mean, you both sort of touched on what you're grateful for. That was one of the questions. We can skip that bullshit. What do you, so far, I mean, it's been a hot minute, but what do you miss the most so far?
I really, I miss Axe League a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I'm anticipating that to be a very emotional, like, couple days when we get back into that, whenever that is.
Mhm.
And I also miss, like,
Us, obviously, rehearsal, clearly.
no, I see you a bunch. I miss, like I'm a super physical person. I've already known that about myself for a long time, but like when out for walks and things, we've run into like people that we know, and like 6 feet apart feels awful.
Yeah.
I really just want to like squeeze everybody.
We're all just going to be petting each other after.
Who wants to be squeezed?
How about you, Rubes? What do you miss the most?
I miss burlesque stuff the most, like shows and teaching in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like part of me is missing.
Mm.
And I honestly miss working at the library too. Like my coworkers, I spend more time with them than I do with anybody else.
Right.
So like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's weird not seeing them almost every day.
Yeah. It's just something you kind of take for granted, right? And then you're like, oh, wow, I actually like these people, or oh, wow, I really like being away from these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending
Well,
on-
most of my coworkers are great, so
That's good.
I miss them.
Aw. What's the first thing you'll do when we're able to see people again?
I think it depends what day of the week it is.
Yeah.
Sure. What's the thing you will look forward to or try to do the first thing?
I think like seeking bustle, like there's like, I find crowds overwhelming sometimes, but I kind of like, I want to be like in a like very energetic, electric kind of space, like
Right.
just full energy.
Sure.
Like we've been watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
Mm-hmm.
very show. But she does stand up, and there's a lot of like really fast like back and forth, and it's got a similar energy to like the backstage or like the walking onto and from stage at shows.
Mm-hmm.
And just they're like walking through people thing is really, I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice. How about you, Rubes?
I can't wait to do a show.
Mm-hmm.
With who?
Or even just go to a show, be in a show. It'll be a real like intense moment to be able to do that again.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it'll feel weird.
It'll probably feel surreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you guys been like moving, like your bodies? Is that integral to your well-being?
It is. I've been putting it on the back burner. I think that there's some like my head's a little bit like floating above the rest of my body right now, and I'm kind of focused on trying to like pull that back down. But yeah, mostly just like walking, really simple stuff. And like sometimes when we watch TV at night, I'll like sit on the ground and stretch, but I'm not being as active as I would like to be. It was really like when I took your online burlesque size class last week, I was like, oh, I really need to do this.
Right.
But I haven't been as good about trying to stay on top of that as I would like. So that's definitely a goal.
Well, we have classes coming up, Lilith.
I'm gonna be.
You can be part of them. How about you, Ruby? You said you're doing yoga every day?
Not every single day. Some days I'm just like too sad, but
Yeah.
most days I am doing it. Yeah.
That's good.
It does help.
Yeah, you notice a difference after?
Yeah, I've always noticed like when I'm going through like depressions, yoga is always like soothing.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Has anything funny happened? You guys, what's the funniest thing you've encountered in your quarantine social distancing?
My cats are really annoyed with me.
For being in the home?
Yeah, I'm like smothering them, and they're really over it. It's like, it's really funny because I desperately pay attention all the time, and they're the only it's in the house most of the time. Like, yeah, so that's been pretty funny. Also,
Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about burlesque size with your partner?
That was also was really fun. Yeah, that was hilarious. Also, just like watching my partner, like I've never seen them. Learning a lot about him too, because there's like he's a very like get up, go to work, like super self-motivated, and usually when he takes time off, he feels like guilt about the fact that he's not working, but there's none of that. Like the guilt is not there at all. So watching him just like settle into being a homebody is pretty funny. Like he gets up, he's been playing video games a lot, so he'll get up in the morning and be like, well, I'm gonna go be a cowboy for a few hours, and then I'll come clean the kitchen. It's been pretty funny to navigate that.
Nice. How about you, Rubes? Anything?
Sorry, I don't got anything for you.
It's okay. I'm sure there's stuff.
Our cats are annoying us, so.
Fair. I feel similarly.
You feel that way?
They're adorable.
They're just so like, they just whine so much. Okay.
I'm always like, what did you do when I'm not here? You just sleep. Like, you don't need to be let in and out 17 times, and you don't need to drink from the goddamn faucet. Like,
she does.
Hmm?
She's always needed that. You knew she needed that.
She needs it, but when I'm not here, she just deals. The other day, she drank from the faucet, demanded to drink from the faucet, then threw up all over, like a child throw up, like not just like a cat, like bleh. It was like all over the couch, all over the floor, all over my wallet, all over another part of the couch. It was just like she drank too much water or something. It was like gross.
Gross, Ella.
She's like, you're a drunk teenager.
Yeah. How's your sex life? Has anything changed?
Non-existent.
No.
And it's 1,000% because of me.
That's
I gave Steven a beach the other day.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
too. Yay. He's like, thank you, COVID.
Well, it was technically for his birthday, but on his birthday, he was like really down in the dumps and he didn't want one. So the day after, I was like, want to go have a shower and we'll like do a little thing.
Aww.
So
post birthday,
we made it happen.
Nice. Has it has it changed? Like, are you feeling less inspired?
Me or Lilith?
Yeah, it's that it's like a combo. It's a combo jobber. I'm like stress has made my pussy shut down. Like it was like the one day we tried, I wanted to so bad, and it was just like, and like actually like I've never been like, oh, it's closed. Like it's not open.
Close to business.
So that was one day, and then after that it was like the emotional like we'd been trying to get pregnant for about 7 months, and this is the first month we were like, maybe we'll take a break because obvious reasons, and I feel like right now is the time of the month where we'd be trying, so I'm like feeling really like I'm like intentionally kind of detached.
Yeah, fair. Maybe that's part of it. Just
definitely
not wanting to.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, fair.
Did you grab my Hitachi almost every morning though when I'm sleeping in?
Nice.
My vibrator broke like 2 months ago, and I haven't fucking got a new one. I can't now.
You can order it
online.
True. But I like to go into it's one of my favorite things about buying a vibrator is going into the store and talking to Zoe. Recommendation.
if you guys are okay with me leaving this in, she'll be very pleased about being.
Please. I want her to know. She like recommended it last time. It lasted me for a long time.
Yeah, the last one I bought with her recommendation is still going strong. It's a goodie. And it's not battery operated, so that's a key.
It's not battery operated?
No, it's like I charge it, so I don't have to
Oh,
worry about batteries in the apocalypse.
I should go that route.
Yeah, suggested.
As you know, mine plugs right in, so
It's true. Doesn't it have to be plugged in to be used? The Hitachi?
it does.
So you have to be close to an outlet.
Yeah,
That might be a problem for me.
Yeah.
there. It does tie you down.
I mean, I know that I could order an extension cord online.
Your vibrator extension cord. These fucking old houses, man. There aren't that many outlets.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
You gotta masturbate in the hallway. Random outlet that nobody uses.
Well, too, in the bathroom at all, which is a big disappointment for me because we have this sick bathtub.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to plug anything in and use it in the bathtub anyway. Seems like a bad idea.
I could have considered that.
Seems ill-advised. Do you guys have any insights on like what you think how and if this will change relationships or intimacy? Not necessarily specifically with yourselves, just in general. Did you hear that noise?
I did. I don't know what it was.
I think that was Oscar you heard.
Oh.
He's squeaking right now.
Poor Oscar.
I know.
Oscar's a cat.
What the question was? Sorry, that was very.
Is that him?
Wait, that's awesome.
No.
Really?
It sounds like a human blowing their nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like a snoring type sound,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
It's really funny to hear.
My question was, do you have any insights, or do you think this will change relationships or intimacy, and how?
I think it's going to be super make or break for folks who are living partners. Yeah, or for folks who aren't and like have to experience the distance of it. I mean, it's not like they're going to be introduced to other people. Like it doesn't have the same complicated layer as long distance.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely going to decide some things. It's like it kind of reinforced that like I feel really good about the communication in my relationship, and it reinforced that a couple of days, but it got sorted out. But yeah, I think it's gonna like all of the like dumbass shit that you experience in a day kind of like flies out the window when you're dealing with something like this, and you're kind of forced to like see things in a very urgent way.
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel worried about people who are in not healthy or abusive relationships and having to spend more time together. It's certainly been on my mind. But I will be curious how many people file for divorce after this.
Yeah.
It's a lot in China, eh?
Yeah.
Divorce filings, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe we're not designed to be spending this amount of time with any one human.
Well, and it's like it's a double whammy because it's like you have to be together and you're dealing with a crisis.
Yeah.
And crisis when you don't have to be with the person constantly is hard enough.
It doesn't bring out the best in most of us, right?
No.
We're managing each other. Yeah. What about intimacy? It's like, it's weird. Like you mentioned, a lot of like realizing how much of a physical person you are, and like,
Yeah.
you know, needing that touch
Yeah.
and
But
harassing your cat.
I have, like, there are definitely people that I don't miss touching, that like I like at Axoring, for instance, we hug in between matches. And I think that this will have set up like people's instinct might not be to touch anymore, and that's not necessarily the either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's an interesting like point around like the way that we touch and like our instinct to do it, but like now for a while we're gonna have this in the back of our heads.
Yeah.
Paired with the like deepened need or desire for many of us who haven't had physical touch or it's been limited or whatever, right? Or who show that it's a real conflict for I think many people.
I also think people are going to feel less guilty for not hugging a sick person.
Yeah.
There's that whole like weird social thing that happens when like somebody comes into your space and they're like, I have the flu, but I'm here.
Like, thanks for coming.
Yeah. I don't think people are going to feel as much like it's a super rude thing to be like, please don't touch me.
Yeah, fair.
Please stay home.
Fair. Any insights, Rubes? Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think like Lilith said, it's a bit of a test for a relationship, like being holed up with someone. So one-on-one for a long period.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to figure out if you actually like each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that, like, who would you be stranded on an island with? And like, what are the things you would bring? Well, turns out I'm on an island in my living room with one person. I have 8 rolls of toilet paper and 4 bags of beans. And like, we're gonna make this happen.
And I would bring a wall.
And my Hitachi.
Yeah.
What's your hope for after this quarantine?
Ooh. There's a lot of them, and I feel like I'm going to sound like an asshole for saying any of them.
That's okay. We know you're an asshole.
Thank you so much. I guess I did open by describing myself as a Gemini. I think that, I mean, it would be lovely if people learned that we don't need to be like consuming as much as we consume. Definitely forced. I mean, I know it's forced me to really, like, I've been trying for the last 2 years, like, when I've been quietly not setting a New Year's resolution, it's been to like try to figure out how to be resourceful, and I haven't been super good about it. And it's definitely like put that into like all of the little things that I really wanted to start putting into my daily life. I'm actually doing now, so I'm hoping that happens with other people.
Cutting your tampons in half and.
Oh, don't use tampons, beach. I have a
Diva cup.
I don't even really use that. I got cloth pads a while ago, and they're like
nice.
Game. I also don't bleed for enough days that it's a big concern.
You just want it not to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned to meditate my menses away.
Don't you just hold it? Don't you just cross your legs? Like, you just hold it. I don't understand why women
go to the bathroom
or folks have to bleed. Like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
What about you, Rubes? What's your hopes?
Honestly, hadn't thought about it that much.
No? If you had one wish for after this quarantine, what would it be? Sorry, my partner is listening to R. Kelly Ignition. I need to
get rid of that.
Shut the door. Actually, he's listening to himself sing it. It's not even the actual song. It's his own recording of it. Sorry. Your hopes, your hope, your wish, your one wish for the world after this quarantine, after COVID-19.
I don't know, girl. I'm not an idealist, I guess. I don't know.
Fair. But
You're
again,
sure otherwise.
what's
I
that?
just hope everyone is, everyone I know is safe and healthy.
Yeah. Would you say, Lilith?
I said that Ruby's shirt suggests otherwise about her being an idealist. It looks like an optimist would wear. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. What do you think will change the most in our lives, society?
I think that the next generation is going to be really good at washing their hands.
Some awesome hand washers.
Yeah, everyone's going to have the driest fucking hand.
Yep.
I honestly don't know.
No.
I think it could be like I think that short term a lot will change. And I hope that it stays like the changes that are positive remain long term, but I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I'm a little worried that like post World War II styles, we're gonna. Oh, my battery's low.
Uh-oh.
Sorry,
I only have one more question, so don't worry.
I'm worried that post World War II styles, it's gonna be like everybody's like fucking great and like blindly grab anything they can grab.
Sure, like the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just
like
revisit capitalism in its finest.
Yeah.
Rubes, what about you?
What do I think is going to happen?
What do you think is going to change the most?
I don't know, girl. I'm not a sociologist. I'm just a lowly library clerk /
but
fancy stripper.
You read all these books about.
Oh, just because I read science fiction?
Yeah, what do you think?
Just because it's like the most appropriate.
I'm a sociologist. I don't know what will change the most. I have some ideas, but.
Well, what do you think?
I mean, I think for sure the way we do work and interact. Is that Oscar?
Yeah. Bless his heart. Poor little guy.
His heart and his nose.
Yeah.
Don't worry. He has asthma and other issues. He does not have COVID. Cats can't get it, so they say. Yeah, I think for sure, like, people's priorities are changing. I think they're getting a bit of a sense of like even just work days and like I hope the value of work, like we're really seeing what work has historically been deemed invaluable or non-valuable and paid accordingly, like cleaners and grocery store workers and taxi drivers. And I would like to believe that we see some changes in that. Obviously, like the use of technology, I think we'll see changes in how we do work, how we interact. Like, will we be needing to go as many places and be in person as often? Like, I think there will be a desire to be seeing each other, but we might be reevaluating how we do that work. And
I hope that people think more about how they spend their vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be angry if the cruise ship industry went down.
For sure. I mean,
a pun or a metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hopeful we'll change our entire systems and how we do things and realize, oh, we could have done, socialism could have existed this whole time. But, at the very least, I think the way we look at work and how we do it and how we interact.
How much actually needed for offices.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff might change. Who knows? So my last question is, if you were able to go back a year ago and give yourself a message, your current self a message, what would it be?
Update your address with the fucking CRA.
Fair.
I would be use all your vacation time before March.
Yeah.
Oh, also like save money.
Save money.
Oh yeah, save some more money.
Some money.
Don't blow all that money on
Nothing.
clothes you don't need.
Instagram shopping.
On Instagram shopping, yeah.
Fair.
Well,
Well,
all these cute outfits and nowhere to go.
well, here you are, sporting your cheetah shirt on.
That's true. I got this on Instagram.
You got it on Instagram.
Kind of like it was meant to be
This
out of it.
video will be on Instagram. There you go. It's not all for naught. See, it's worthwhile.
There you go.
Well, thanks for your time on that, on these questions. I value your time and opinions, and it's nice chatting with you ladies. And
We value your questions.
Thank you. Perhaps I'll have more. This is my first run at it. My first attempt of questions and interviews. Immediately I thought of you two. We had our scheduled wine date, you know, because we're supposed to be having rehearsals right now, but instead we can rehearse drinking.
Can our first rehearsal after this just be the three of us in a three-way spoon for an hour?
Sure. That's what you need. You can be in the middle.
Great.
Get it all in you. All right, don't hang up, but I'm gonna stop recording now.
Okay.
I love you. Bye,
you.
Oscar.